Okay, we're gonna bring a barn update to you. One of the number one things that I wanted to get done this summer outside of insulating towards the winter is get a little bit more natural light in here. So I have the big garage door, I have that slider door over on the other side, and the two small windows way up top, but I wanna get a couple more windows in here just to bring in some more natural light. That way it's not quite as dark in here during the day. So we are going to install a window. I've never done it before. Read a couple things online, watched a couple videos, and we're just gonna knock this out and see how it goes. So hopefully, if you ever need to install a window in your gym, you can take this video and use it. This is how we're gonna do it today. Okay, so the first thing that needs to happen is obviously you need to measure the space that your window is going to go into and then frame it in to make sure that everything fits nice and tight. So I've got different widths on all the studs on these walls, and some of the boards are bowed. Nothing fits quite right. So the window is going to go up top, up there, and I'm going to put another one down below it, down here, just to kind of two different areas to bring in some light. And I framed it in the best that I could. It's a little bit off, so I had to cut. The windows are 32 inches long by 18 inches wide. It's about a 21.5 inch space. So I just took some of the extra wood that we used for framing in the walls, cut 32 by 21.5 just to put a nice frame in there that window is going to slide into fairly well. There's going to be some cracks, but I'll show you how I'm going to kind of take care of that towards the end of the project as we frame it in. So I'm using this main beam up here as kind of my top header. So there's a beam that runs all the way across the whole length of the barn, and then I'm gonna cut 3 other pieces to frame in the exact, or as close as I can get for the width of the window. So it's gonna be about 32 inches long and then about 21.5 inches wide. So we're gonna cut those first. Next, now that the frame is up in the area that the window is gonna go in, I actually have to cut out the wall. So I'm gonna cut around kind of where we framed in. Now that I've got something solid to kind of attach and drill the window into for the flanges on the window down here, we're gonna cut the actual wall out with just a Sawzall, kind of clean up the edges, make sure everything looks nice, and then drop the window in. All right, so first go with cutting the space out to put the window in. Good news is the window fits, so pretty much measured as needed. I knew it was going to be really close on the flanges. So these flanges here are actually where I'm going to put screws through to mount the window to that frame. Now the other thing I didn't do, I just cut the general hole to make sure that my window fit. But I need to clear off all of the excess barn siding that's around the framing that I did, because that's actually going to be what I drill into. So right now it doesn't really line up quite right with the barn siding or with the framing that I put in. So I'm gonna get up there with a hammer and the hacksaw, kind of knock some of that off, clean it all up, and then we're gonna see if I've got enough room to get screws through here easy enough that I'm not gonna like bust out on the seams. It's gonna be really close from what I measured right there, so I might have to cobble on a little bit of extra framing just for something for the window to actually mount to. Okay, so we got the hole cut out, we got everything cleared out around the framing. So the look isn't perfect for what I want right now, just because right on the edge of each framing was all the, or on the edge of the framing where the normal boards went across or the wall went across, there's a bunch of nails kind of where each board lined up. So some pieces got pulled out that I didn't really want pulled out, or broke off that I didn't want broke off. So we had to do some extra cutting in there, but that's not something that I can't go in and kind of fix later and throw in some other barn siding. Just strips that go down that are gray that'll kind of match everything and make everything look perfect and flush. But right now all we're concerned about is trying to get the screws in through the flange to actually mount it to our framing. Got the window mounted. It wasn't perfect. There was still some gap on either side. I knew it was going to be a really tight fit for actually being able to drill into this flange. So this flange over here on the side of the window is what you actually drill into to mount it onto the framing or whatever you're mounting it to, right? Great thing about this that, I mean, I didn't even really realize this stuff is very forgiving. It didn't crack. It'll bend. It'll kind of twist a little bit, but I was able to get the screw really close to the edge and punch through at an angle to make sure that it actually anchored to the framing and didn't just shoot through and kind of miss the framing. So was super pumped about that. Didn't have to add any extra shims to kind of bring the sides in a little bit. Probably would have been helpful. I could have came in another ½ inch, but was super stoked that I didn't have to do that. So there's maybe like a hairline crack here or there between the outside and inside on that flange. So all I'm going to do is go around with some caulk, just some general silicone all the way around that crack where those cracks are, kind of smudge it in, get a nice bead in there, and then fill in behind it with just some foam. Closed cell spray foam, I believe. This stuff's going to expand to like fill in any kind of crack or gap that you might have, and then it acts as a water vapor or a water barrier or a vapor barrier, and stops wind and gives it a little bit of insulation. So with those two things, I think the window's going to seal up just fine. If I see some water coming through at any point, then I'll probably go up there and pull out the two side frames, put in like a 1/4 inch sliver, and then put it back in there, reattach the window up so that the side beams kind of move over a little bit more and there's more overlap with that flange in the frame. But overall, super happy right now. Let's throw this stuff up there. We'll wrap it up and we're done. Window is finished. It's finished as far as we're going to get, at least in this video. So what needs to happen next, if you take a look up there, we've got some foam kind of all around the outside edges of the window, and it looks a little rugged right now, but the great thing about that stuff is it's going to expand while it seals or expand while it hardens. And once it does harden, you can go up there with an X-Acto knife and trim it all off so that everything's flush and looks nice, sand it down. And most foam you can even paint to kind of match the exterior of the window. On the outside, definitely gonna have to put in some more siding. Might have to strip off 1 foot over or the next joist over and then lay it back in with pieces long enough so that it matches up flush to the window. But overall right now, the window's in, it's sealed. I don't see any like rain getting in with the way that we did it right there, and only took about an hour and a half to kind of get it done. So not bad at all. Again, the next plan will be another window right below it and then another one kind of on the other side and maybe 2 more on either side up there and get some more natural light in here. But that's it for the barn this week. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Put your comments, questions down below. Like, subscribe. We'll put some information down below, a little bit more on the type of window I got, a little more detailed explanation as to how we got it up and in there. Hope you guys enjoyed it.